everywhere. Get the music started. So we got a little bit of soundtrack playing here, just a little bit. All right, check. Might still be a smidge too loud. We'll bring that down a bit. Okay. Are we live on Twitch? We are live on Twitch. Are we live on the YouTube? Activity feed. Pop that up so I can keep an eye on it. We are live on YouTube. Awesome. And then we do the same old. Find the stream tweet. We retweet it like we always do. Can't type behind this box. I was going to leave it while I was doing everything, but tonight we hopefully finish the G Barbatos 6th form. Live for the next hour or so. I need to go back and cut this part out for the VOD. All right, and then we'll copy that message. Put that in the Discord. Oop. All right, now we can put this back up until we're ready. Start. Which, I mean, we're going to be starting pretty quick. I just wanted to get all the stuff out. Close all those tabs. YouTube says we're good. Twitch says we're good. Restream says we're good. Perfect. Sound good on YouTube? Awesome. Thank you. I've minimized my window, so I am smaller now. The chat window is taller now, and the actual stream is bigger. So hopefully everybody can see a little better. And then I've moved the camera right next to me now, so I have to be very careful not to just block it with my arm. But hopefully that should give a much better view while we're building. Have music down just a smidge here. And by smidge, I guess I mean I'm going to turn it down a lot. Hold on. There we go. All right, so I'm going to give it like 2 more minutes for a pre-show, and then I'll just get started. But yeah, you know, it's Friday. Friday means that we, you know, we do some stuff. We build some suits or paint some stuff. And if I drop this down, you can see that because of the new view, you can see the stuff that we painted, the stuff that was already painted, as well as some Tyranids back there, and then the 3 that still remain to be painted next week that are all up here. And I'll probably switch this stuff out as the weeks go by, you know, just to give a different feel each week. But if we build some SDs, like I'm planning on, then we'll put some SDs up there. And I've turned my soda so the brand is not visible. Ugh. If a soda company wanted to sponsor us, though, we would, you know, we'll start leaving that in the background for sure. Just saying. All right, we're going to give it another minute, and then we will kick off here. Da-da, da-da-da-da-da. You can see the reflection of me in the edge of the Amazon Echo. I guess now that's proof for everybody that's always wondered where Alexa is. It's right there. It's right there on my desk, getting in the way and being annoying most of the time. But, you know, what can you do? All right, I think we are pretty much good to go. So I think we are going to go ahead and get started. I do have the activity feed up, so if people want to use channel points, they can. You'll see more of my hands now, and I don't know how I feel about that. But we have the Barbatos. If you remember from last time, we got this much of him done. So we have another arm to go, and then his legs. cool guy, that Barbatos. I have been having the Barbatos as my ally in SD Gundam Battle Alliance, which I'm sure you all expect me to talk about tonight. So we will. Go ahead and put that other part right there. Get all of this out of the box. Get the box out of the way. Okay. Alright, we need to finish our other arm first before we do anything else. So, that right there. And as usual, that is very bright on the camera, so I'm not going to put it right there. I'm going to put it over here for me. And you guys are just going to have to trust me. But we're going to put that panel right there. This panel right here. This panel right here. And this panel right here. Stickers are right there, of course. And then I have my tools, my nippers, my file, my number mover, and my X-Acto in case I need it. So, a lot of stuff we could do here. All right, so on number 4, you can't really see it. Oh, you can actually see it really well with this. This camera's placement's very cool. So we're going to work on the left arm now, which means I should be able to set this like right here. And then I can see that actually perfectly, and it's not too bright for all of you. Okay, so we need F17, F20, and I believe this is A, this is B, so this one is F. Yeah, this is F. Okay. F17. I can move this stuff over here where you can see as we cut it. Hey, well, I have moved the camera, so now hopefully it is easier for everybody to see. And we can actually lean these over here when we're not using them, because we're not going to be using most of that stuff since the setup's all good. F17 and F20. And eventually we'll probably get a different camera. And with that other camera, let me move this back while I'm doing this so you can hear me. With that other camera, we'll probably try and get a real top-down view where you can see what I'm doing on this side too. Either that or we'll just have like a crossfade of the two cameras looking down at this angle from both sides. But for now, we're going to keep the camera on me because somebody's trying to steal our content. And that's fun. So for now, you're going to keep seeing me on there. And if you decide to try and steal this one too, just a reminder, I know what you're doing. And you have been warned. All right, number 22. I'm one of those people that normally goes ahead and does like the next 2 steps together at the same time, you know? Just a me thing. Will you stand right there with that? Yeah. Battle Alliance, it's going pretty good. I'm definitely... Man, I'm really torn on it right now. Got our nubs here we got to get rid of. I'm really torn on it right now because I'm at the part where the enemies become much more difficult and I'm having to grind to be able to get my stuff up to be able to handle it. Like I got into a fight with a mobile armor that is beam resistant, and I've been using the Freedom the entire time, which means that I'm struggling, and so I had to go back and start leveling up another suit. It's expensive to level up suits in that game. It's a little grindy. And I guess all the SD games have been, in a way, but this one feels more grindy. I don't mind too much. Like, I will grind it out. You know, that's not a problem. It surprised me. It's more grindy than I thought it was going to be. Like, Gundam Breaker's grindy in a way, but not to the level, I guess New Gundam Breaker is, but not to the level that that this is. And even like Cross Rays and Genesis, I don't think are quite as grindy as this is, but it's just because you get so little capital to be able to level stuff up with. But that's okay. I'll get it up there, and I'll get it leveled, and then it won't be a problem. I'm really considering just taking like 2 suits and grinding them up to an obscene level and just using those for the most part. which is a shame because I like playing around with different suits, right? That's a big part of the fun in the game is playing around with a bunch of different suits. But we're going to prop this guy up right here so you can see him. Okay. So this part goes right here. Like, that was the big draw for the game for me, was getting a bunch of different suits to play around with and having a good time, you know? But it feels like it's probably going to wind up being just, hey, I'm going to have these couple suits leveled up, and they're going to be what I use to fight most of my battles. All right. Like this. Put these two together. The only problem with not putting the two arms together in the same time is that I've already forgotten how to do it. It's been 2 weeks, you know? But that's okay. We'll get them done either way. The instructions are right in front of me. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now is I need to level up the Exia to use as my melee or the Knight Gundam to use as my melee. And the Freedom can work as my all-rounder. And then I guess I'll use the Command that I got from the Deluxe Edition, the early unlock for, as the ranged one. Because there are definitely some of those mold armor fights where I'm not going to try and get close. And one other little annoyance that I've had is targeting battleships is kind of annoying. And so, for instance, if I'm playing as the Exia, to try and because I have a part for an infighter that lets me get more capital. So I've been using that on the Exia. But then there are missions that have battleships, and it's really annoying to kill them with the Exia because I haven't upgraded his ranged at all. Because you can't reach them with melee, you know? The Big Zam does hurt. Big Zam hits really hard. I just wore him down eventually with my my Freedom. But his eye field was fun to deal with. He is not the only one that has one of those either. As always, big thanks to OC Remix that lets us use their music without royalties, royalty free. Really appreciate that. Got some really great stuff. And if you want to go check their stuff out and throw them a donation, you can. But really, honestly, they'd probably just be stoked if you just went and checked out their stuff, because there's a ton of music on that website that a bunch of different users have presented and made available for everybody to use, and it's pretty great. All right. Now, let's take piercing. Yeah, I've got piercing on, but it's still... Those eye fields still hurt. I feel like we're still definitely in the experimental phases of these streams where there could be, like, if I could do it with just one hand, or if my other hand wasn't as big as it is, then it might be better, but it's not. I'm sorry. Okay. I put these in backwards. Just now realized that. Put these in backwards. I didn't do that last time. Okay. Almost have Exia. Exia is pretty good. I've been using Exia quite a bit. There we go. Just because its melee hits really hard. Of course, most infighters have like really good melee. They just don't have much good ranged. And unfortunately, that is definitely true for the Exia. But its melee's great. I mean, what else could you expect from the Exia, you know? All right, now we need 35, which is right here, and we got to put the sticker on it. Dun, 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 dun. That's right, Nightbot. Still need a Gundam game set up like Zone of the Enders. Oh, yeah. I miss Zoe sometimes. I should really go back and replay Zoe. I guess the closest one to that would be Another Century R, which was not made by Sunrise and was outsourced to a different one, a different team, and does not just have Gundams in it, but it's a really cool game. It's also really, really difficult. They made that game hard, and I don't know why. Almost have the Barbatos Lupus. Nice. All right, we're going to put the sticker on this, which means I need my sticker sheet. Anybody remembers how we do stickers? Take our number mover right here. Then we grab the edge of the sticker with it, and then we peel it off so that we hold it like this. And then we can take our sticker, and we can layer it over. It's not hard for new types. That's very true. That's very true. If I was just a new type, if my soul wasn't weighed down by gravity, you roll the bottom out right there. It's all lined up, and you just press down. Ah, it's not quite lined up. I was a little bit off. There we go. Much better. Much better. I understand, Will. Enjoy your meal. Dun, dun. Wait a second. Okay, yeah, that's right. I thought for a second I did still have the arms on backwards, but no, that's right. Okay. Now we need A32, which is on this one. It's too bad I'm just an old type. Being a new type would be sick. Of course, I guess that comes with its problems too, right? You know? Never have any privacy. Everybody expects you to be like Amuro Ray. Man, there is a thing that I have not told you yet, Rundgren, about new types that I really want to at some point, and I can't, not until we get to Gundam X, but oof. Well, if you don't want to be called, yeah, if you don't want to be called Amuro, they'll call you Amuro. There is a specific new type character that is introduced in Gundam X that is something. The people that have seen it know what I'm talking about. Do not spoil it for him, because, ooh boy. I don't think any of us really ever recovered from that. There really isn't much to do once we have the arms done, because then it's really just the legs and the weapons. At most, we'll run a little bit late today, I think, to finish it. But as long as we don't run into any hiccups, we should be done with the Barbatos today. If we run into a hiccup, it'll be next 2 weeks from now before we finish the Barbatos. I did have somebody ask, hey, why are you alternating weeks? Why not just do one until you finish a project and then do the other? The only problem with that is, what if a project takes a month? Then you only have a month of painting or a month of building, and you don't have any of the other, you know? Whereas if we alternate, it'll all get done eventually. Okay. Oh, thanks for the follow, Blunt Alibi. Appreciate that. Okay, there we go. Now we have the start of an arm. And then we need B22 and E3. And of course, E3 will have to have a sticker, just as last time. So B22. Here we go. Get a good look at my watch screen there. Yeah, I think that like I need to move over a little, but I'm afraid I'm going to move the camera if I do, so that you can see what I'm doing a little better. There we go. What am I looking for? B22. There we go. Even then, it's still not quite in frame. But if I move the camera too much this way, then you'll see a mess. And by a mess, I mean all these panels that I've lined up over here on the deal. On YouTube last time, easier for you to watch on Twitch. Not a bad Friday. Finished CS1 last week. Still emotionally recovering. I understand. I understand. That ending to CS1 is, it's something. I think of the cliffhangers, I think the Sky cliffhanger is worse, but not by much. I think that that CS1 cliffhanger is I don't mean worse as in bad. I just mean like that hurts, man. That hurts. It's a really good scene though. Man, I love Valimar. Such a cool thing. Not gonna get too many spoodles, but really like Valimar. I wonder if they sell Valimar model kits. Good question. If they do, I should get one. I think moving over is the right call. You get a little bit better view that way. I was gonna say I don't want to spoil too much of IBO for people, but I guess IBO's been out for like 6 years now, huh? But this is my favorite form of the basic Barbatos, personally. Never experienced FC, and yes, they announced. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to want to pick that up then. Yeah, I think FC's is just a little bit more harsh, but not by much. I think it is pretty close in that regard. All right. Let me put the deal right here. Then we need the sticker, which is this one. 14. Yeah, they're pretty close though for me. I think that when it comes to cliffhangers, there aren't any cliffhangers that I think are harder hitting than those two. Those two are the big cliffhangers for me. Like there's some rough cliffhangers in media that are really tough to deal with, but I sure was glad that I didn't have to wait after FC. But I did have to wait after Cold Steel 1 because the way that I played the games was Trails in the Sky second chapter, Trails in the Sky third chapter, and then Trails from Zero, because the Geofront patches had just come out for Zero, but then it hadn't come out for Zero yet, or for Azure. So instead, I played Cold Steel 1, and then got to that cliffhanger, and that was rough. And then right after that is when the Azure one finished. And so instead of playing Cold Steel 2, I went and played Azure. And so I did have to wait until after I finished a completely different game in the series before I could figure out what was going on in Cold Steel 2. That was rough. That was tough, you know? I wanted to see what was happening there. All right, so we could just use the one we already have and slot it in there. But I feel like that's lazy. We want to build the other gun on, you know? Man, I need a Valimar. All right, so we need F9. I'm sorry, we need F6 and F7. on Trails for about 7 years. Finally sitting down playing through it all. Nice. Yeah, I played all of them in a year up until obviously, Hajimari hadn't come out over here officially yet. But I played all of them in the span of a year. And that was last year now. Hard to believe it's already been a year, almost. And it was a blast, an absolute blast. I loved working my way through them. Because then after that, it was Cold Steel 2, Cold Steel 3, Cold Steel 4, Over Vita. Yeah, Vita Clotilde, man. Vita Clotilde. What a character. No, I understand why you might be a little upset with Vita Clotilde. For sure. For sure. No, I adore that series. I did a whole series of reviews, one on each game, because I'd always heard how good they were, and I just never checked them out, And then I did a first impressions on Trails in the Sky, first chapter video, and I was like, well, this is pretty good. This is solid. It's not the best game I've ever played, which I was wrong. But it's still not the best. I mean, second chapter exists, but I didn't love it. I thought it was fun, but I didn't fall in love for the game. And I got to the end of the sewer introduction basically and stopped playing. And then I did a first impressions on Trails of Cold Steel 4 because I didn't realize the games were all connected. And that spoiled me on a couple things, though I didn't know reveals at the time to know what it was. And honestly forgot about most of it by the time I got there. But the big thing that it told me is that you can meet a character again that I met in that first impressions for first chapter in one of the opening cutscenes for Cold Steel 4. And I was like, okay. And I'm not spoiling anything about who that character is, but it was a reveal that made me go, okay, so these people, this is a continuous story, and these characters matter. They're not just, hey, they're in one set of games and they're done. This is, actually connected. And it made me really want to try them out. And so I did. And I'm really glad I did, because they were absolutely worth it. I love playing those games. Okay. We have our joint here. Put that in right there. Just like so. And then we'll take this and slot it in right here. Yep. Really excited for Reverie. Then we slot this in right here. YouTube for someone who did longer reviews on Zero. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I spent a long time talking about Zero. Once I get going, it's hard to shut me up. All right. We still got to make the hand before we put it on there. We got to make the hand. But we have all the main parts together there for the arm. And the hand is A33 and B16. Oh, I forgot to put together the other cannon. I got to do that real quick. The other missile set. Don't want to lose those pieces by not putting that together real quick. Right, the legs, we're probably going to make at the same time. To save time. Okay, Okay. Just like so. Go. And then these go here. And there we go. That's the other missile launcher. Put that up here too for now. Behind our half-painted intercessor from last week. All right. And A33 and B16. And I know a lot of people with their reviews have like they want to talk more about mechanics and everything, and that's fine. Mechanics are important to games too. I talk about that in some of my reviews, but for the Trails games, it really comes down to the story. Now, why are you holding this, Automod? Oh, I see why, but I'm allowing it, obviously. Been able to avoid most spoilers. Do you know that some characters from Sky are in it for because of the marketing? Yeah, for sure. For sure. I understand. I understand why you grabbed that Autobot, but you didn't have to. Yeah, it was crazy that I really assumed, because I made it a big thing on the channel, you know, when I was covering them and everything. I was really surprised that people didn't spoil me on stuff, because normally when I'm covering a series, they do. But it was a nice surprise, you know? It's a good feeling to be able to make it through a story and not be spoiled. I did have a couple things marketing-wise, like you said, that spoiled me, but for the most part, I was genuinely surprised at just about everything that happened. All right, and then we pop this arm in right here, and we have two arms. So this one doesn't... There we go. We got two arms on our Barbatos. Camera's a little bright back there. Can't really see the yellow, but there we go. A lot of the Trails communities thankfully good on that. Yeah. They want people to enjoy it. They don't want people to quit because somebody spoiled them on something. And I can respect that. I really do believe the Trails community is one of the best communities out there. Which is crazy to find a good community on the internet, but for the most part, they're pretty great. A couple strange things that come up with some translations that people get pretty upset about, but for the most part, they're pretty great. I do have to ask, since you finished Cold Steel 1, without getting into too many spoilers for what comes next, how did you feel about Angelica Rogner? That is the only character in the entire Trail series that I actively dislike. And I don't like hate her, I just don't like her. I don't know what it is about Angelica Rogner, but I mean, I know what some of it is, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Character-wise, but just don't like her. That's fair. For sure. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's just a little too tropey for me. Like, Reen and Elisa start out a little tropey, and then they, you know, move past it. And I guess Angelica never really did in Cold Steel 1. For me. What is this part supposed to be? Looks like a water faucet. Welcome back, Will. All right, now we need to do this again. Another A11 and another A3. That's true. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, she did not have to do that, and she chose to anyway. There are definitely good things about her. She's just the only one that I could never bring myself to like. Which is like weird for me, because there's not... It takes a lot for me to dislike a character, though there are some. I've been watching Vikings, and there's a character in Vikings that I don't like at all. But it's very rare for me to like full on dislike a character. Normally I'm just ambivalent towards them. She does. 32. These up here. I really want, and I know I'm a weird subset of this, but I really want them to make another one of the East versus Trails fighting games. They probably won't. And I haven't played the East series. That's my next on my series list once I get caught up on everything else that I'm trying to review right now. Which I'm only falling further behind thanks to SD Gundam Battle Alliance. But I want to get into the East series next and try those out. They're still made by Falcom, so they got to be pretty good, I think. Heard a lot of people like them. There we go. We have these now. Dialogue's so charming. Some of the trophy stuff does. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I think that the stuff that happens early on is with Reen and Elisa is kind of unfortunate, but it's not enough to, by far, to keep me from enjoying those characters. It was an unfortunate start for me, but it definitely did not stay that way. Just want 00 now. In Battle Alliance, I understand. They tease you by giving you the some other 00 suits, but not all of them all at once. Yeah, I will forgive a lot when it comes to writing if you can convince me those are characters and not just cardboard cutouts pretending to be characters. And Cold Steel absolutely convinced me those are characters. There's a lot of people that don't like Reen because they find him to be an anime protagonist, and I firmly disagree with that. I think Reen is a great character. Game looks so fun, just don't have the time for it. I understand. It doesn't expect you to know story stuff, but it will absolutely spoil you on story stuff. It does not care about spoilers. It assumes you either have seen everything or don't care about spoilers either, because it just goes in. And I will say this, it's a lot of fun. It's very grindy. So be prepared for a grind if you do eventually pick it up, but it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying that game a lot. I just wish I didn't have to grind so much. I want to see the cool other story stuff and get new suits. And I wish the new suits didn't start at level 1 when I get them, when I'm already level 15. I do have a little mini review of it out, though, for the first 8 hours of play. And some of my opinions have changed a little bit as I've gotten further in, but that's pretty close to where I am. Yeah, the CRV and the Arios. One other big complaint that I have with the game is that there's no not that many grunt suits that are playable so far. Most of them are just not playable at all. It's a huge shame. Huge wasted opportunity in my mind. Older PSP games on emulator, and it was a blast, even though you could barely understand it without it translated. I understand. I understand that not understanding. That was me with Super Robot Wars when I first started playing that, because we got a fan-translated version of J over here that was great. That fan-translated version of J is incredible, and it made me want to play more. So then I got the original generation games, and those were translated over here officially, and those were really great. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just go back to some of these Japanese-only games and play them. And I did, and had a blast, but the Victory Gundam can separate into multiple parts. And you can't get the parts back for the rest of the mission. How technical it was. Yeah, man, some of that stuff is crazy with how well they did it. Flip these up, it says. They put a lot of work in to make them feel like Gundams, you know? That one is empty. All right, now we need the feet, which are D4. Helps if you hold the nippers the right way. The best Gundam game in my mind, of course I like to build Gunpla, is still Gundam Build. Alright, Trey, not Gundam Build Fighters, Gundam Breaker 3. Incredible game. Incredible game. Don't touch New Gundam Breaker, unfortunately. Then Zeonic Front is the best tactics game that Gundam has ever made. And Gundam versus Zeta Gundam is really fun playing-wise. And the Dynasty Warriors games are really fun to play, too. Gundam also has some great... I just messed up. Gundam also has some great Super Robot Wars cameos. Yeah, why is there no pause in ST Gundam Battle Lines? It's a very good question. I didn't even realize there wasn't a pause because I hadn't tried to pause it in that first 8 hours. And then turns out, yeah, there's no pause. I assume it's because of online, but you want to see my mistake. If you look right here, if it will focus, I accidentally cut the edge of the piece right there when I was trying to get that nub off, which is unfortunate. All right, I got the nub off, though. I'm going to see if I can work that out. Nope, that's just going to be there. He got a cut. He got a scar. I mean, he is the Barbatos, so it makes sense, but... All right, now we need some 8s. This was a dang good game. This is from Endless Duel. Battle Assault 2, Endless Duel. For the PlayStation. Really good fighting game. Okay, we'll get that put in there. And get that one put in there. Looks like they're supposed to be angled back. We're going to use our nub remover. Slot it right in the hole there, and then you can turn it, angle it back. There we go. All right, so then we take our foot piece, and we slot it in right here. And then we take this piece and slot it in right here. And there we have the beginnings of the foot. Like Universe take any decent amount of time to Mech Warrior. I don't blame you there. Mech Warrior is pretty great. I have fallen behind on Mech Warrior and have not played the newest one. But I used to play so much Mech Warrior on the original Xbox. Played with my dad. We had a great time. There's our feet. Ha-ha! We have feet. All right. Having now looked at the time, there's no way we're finishing this Barbatos tonight. But we're going to get as far as we can get before time. The books are surprisingly good. I need to check out the books. I haven't done that yet. Currently, I'm reading a manhwa called Marshall Peak that I've been meaning to catch up on because I think it's almost done. I think it might have finished finally. And then I'm working on the Caiaphas Cain novels for 40K. Okay. Progress is progress. It's true. That's true. And then A15. Of course, next week we'll be back to painting the boys that are spread out here on the front up here. Finishing this guy off, getting all his gray to be colored so that he looks like this guy. And then working on the next one so that kill team will be done. Hopefully once that's all painted and looks good, then we can record a kill team match to be able to put here on the channel so everybody can see it in action. Kill Team's a really fun game that doesn't take that long to play that I don't see people talk about enough because it gets overshadowed by its big brother 40K. It's understandable, but, you know. I had a weird thought earlier for a game that I want, which is Gundam Risk. I want like little miniature versions of, like, give me miniature versions of like a Zagak to run around on a board. Or little Zaku's. Great. Or let me use my full-size Turn A. It's not full-size. Haha. Dynasty Wars Gundam Reborn report win. That's a great game. That's a great game. Then we need A12 as well. Reborn is a great game. And there was a time back before other responsibilities when I used to stream Gundam Game Day, and we would just play Gundam games all day long. We went for like 12 hours at a time. Those were the days. Finish the Nord chapter in CS2. What's going? Bring Claire with me no matter what, but when she and Milliam hugged, yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Milliam won me over in CS1. I really enjoyed Milliam as a character. Milliam Orion. And Claire's pretty great, too. Claire Revelt, pretty great character. I can see stuff in the reflection of my watch. People are going to be trying to figure out what they can see in the room around me. I'm going to get comments on this later that are talking about it. You missed Gundam Game Day? It was pretty great. I don't know how I would ever block out a 12-hour stream in my life now, though. I spent multiple hours today dealing with somebody trying to steal our content here on YouTube. I don't know when I'd have the time to do anything else. Go. All right, and then this piece goes here. Gundam Game Day was pretty great. Yeah, funnel spam. We used to have a whole community together that would come and play Gundam Versus and stuff like that. 6 to 8 hours in your teens, early 20s, and you don't regret that time you spent. Happy to be working towards more personal goals. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I still get to play video games for a living, and that's great. But I also have other stuff I have to do, you know. And I'm glad that that other stuff is going along. Like, I know I talk about it on the podcast, but got a farm, got a house that I'm trying to slowly fix. But when you play games for a living, this is the thing that I don't think people talk about too much, because it's always made out to be this glamorous thing, and it is. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's great. Thank you. It's great to be able to play video games for a living. You know, that's wonderful. But video games then become your job. And so, like, last year, when I got to play all the Trails game for my job, it was incredible because I loved those games. But I also had a time limit. I had to beat them in 1 year, which means there were some times where, especially in, like, Cold Steel 2, where some of the fishing side quests, I just didn't finish that whole storyline because I ran out of time, you know? I had a time limit on me for each of the games that I had to finish them in. And, yeah, you know, it's great, but also it comes with things that I think people don't think about, because then your hobby becomes your job. And when your hobby is the thing that you did to relax, you no longer have the ability to relax as your hobby. So it's a good thing. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this job, but it definitely, you know, it changes your outlook on some things. Oops, hit the mic. Sorry. it makes me think a lot of. I watch Lobos Jr. a lot. He's a Dark Souls streamer. I don't ever get to watch him stream because anytime that I watch him, it's when I'm editing footage and I'm just watching the footage back to make sure there's no visual hiccups in the footage. And every now and then he'll get a game that he plays that he genuinely enjoys. And you can just see the pure joy on his face. That's like, yeah, you know, he's having fun today. Taking your time more slowly on CS2? Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you don't wanna miss anything by rushing it for sure. Okay, so this piece goes in here. And then this piece goes in here. And that creates the joint. And the joint goes into the top of here. If there's a red herring, yeah, for sure. For sure. And I was prepared to be heartbroken with if that was the case. And then when it wasn't, it was, oh, okay. And then I was heartbroken in a different way. Though not as heartbroken as somebody else. That's a joke just for the people that finished CS1. Oh, boy. All right, then we need B8. Here it is. That coin, man. That coin. I found out that they sell that coin as a collectible. And if you got the collector's edition of CS1, when it was like first released, that you could get that coin. Somebody that I follow on Twitter has that coin. It's like, man, I want that coin. I want to have it on the shelf with all the rest of this stuff. All right, so this piece goes right. Marine plush with a coin. Oh, my boy. Estelle's still my favorite of the protagonists. I like Estelle the most, but Reen is still pretty close behind her. And so is Lloyd, honestly. And Kevin Graham is up there, too. I love Kevin Graham. Oh, and there come the Trails music. Dun, dun. I don't feel like that. I guess it does fit right. It doesn't feel like it fits right there. But it does. All right. I need to ask Rengren sometime, talking about burnout and things becoming your job. For anybody who doesn't know, my co-host on the podcast does music. He writes music and the lyrics to it and everything, and he does a great job. His music is incredible. But I need to ask him sometime how he handles the burnout with music, because I like to think that I'm pretty creative. You know, I come up with a lot of stuff for the channel, all kinds of fun videos. The video that I have planned to film tomorrow using this green screen, I'm really excited for. I guess I can tease that now. I used to do a lot of like ranking tier list videos for openings for Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, things like that. I never did one for Gundam, and I don't know why. So I'm going to do one for Gundam tomorrow. And I'm really excited for that video. I've tried to add a bunch of fun edits to most of the stuff that I do. But even with all that, what he has to do is even more taxing on the creative mind. And I need to ask him sometime how he avoids burnout with it. Might be a fun podcast topic. A little too low. Just a little bit too low. More time with him in 2, but told Taval's real MVP? Yeah, for sure. For sure. Usually with emotional breakdown, that's fair. I understand. I understand. Yeah, Taval is pretty great. I don't know if you read the novels in Trails in the Sky Third or not, but there's some references there that are really interesting. All right, I'm not going to be able to get that up there. The stickers get you for sure. Emotional breakdowns, man. I feel that on a deep personal level. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that moved up. And if I keep messing with it, I'm going to make that sticker look worse. So we're just going to leave it the way it is and pretend that's how it's always supposed to be. Carnelia, Carnelia is such a good story, man. I remember specifically in that video, I went off on how good those novels are and how much I was enjoying them. Because that Carnelia story is so good. All right. We're not stopping today until I get this leg on. We're at least getting one leg on this guy before we stop today. And then 2 weeks from now, we'll come back and do the other leg and the weapons and get him posed and looking all great. And if we have time, we'll go ahead and start on an SDE. But we're going to go ahead and finish this leg at least today. B4. I think it's one of the things, too, that, like, most of your favorite YouTubers don't talk about how they fight burnout. But they all have to fight it, right? Whether they're super popular and they have a big following or whether they're just a medium channel or a small channel, they all have to deal with burnout. You put a ton of work into a video and then it just doesn't do well. And it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. But you feel like you did because it didn't work, you know, the way you thought it was going to. And it's tough. It's tough. Oh, how do I make this? There we go. That's where that connects. Man, that looks good. All right, sticker time again. Gonna put sticker 8 on there. Takes a certain personality for sure. Yeah. And it's just because YouTube doesn't have your back most of the time. And I say that now that I have a YouTube rep, and a lot of people don't have a YouTube rep. So I'm in a very good position where it's not really right for me to say that comparatively, but it's true. YouTube normally does not have your back. Okay. That sticker is not working the way it's supposed to right now. I'm going to have to peel around it to get this sticker. All right, there we go. So we have the outside. I'm very confused right now. What do you mean it goes on the outside? It goes like around it? Oh, I'm so dumb. This is not the sticker. The little line in the middle is the sticker. This is just to hold that part on the page. All right, we're going to put that right there. Maxi Boost On series. Yeah, that's a great series. But you get burned out. You know, it doesn't do well, even though it should, as far as YouTube's concerned. They tell you, you know, hey, your content, people like it, it's doing this thing, so you make more of it, and then it doesn't do well, and YouTube goes, hey, you should try something else. Like, but I like doing this thing. The Maxi Boost On example is a perfect example of that, where the exact same thing we did with Versus, and the Versus stuff was great. People loved it. I loved it. And then I wasn't loving the Maxi Boost On content, and it didn't do well on YouTube. So it was like, well, what do we do? You know, we move on to other stuff. But I can't tell you why it didn't do well. I treated it the same way I did everything else on the channel, but for some reason, just people didn't care. Which is fine. They don't have to. I mean, it's their right, but it's weird, YouTube. It's a weird beast. You just keep on keeping on. 5 years now, I think. The channel's changed a lot in that time. People have come and gone that were part of the team. But we kept on trucking. There was a little while there where I was a full-time streamer. It's been a long series of years. But I'm happy. And it's not a thing a lot of people can say, so I'll take it. All right, sticker wise. Very careful with the stickers here. I definitely haven't been on YouTube as long as others, though I was on YouTube before this channel. I was a part of a different channel that a friend of mine started up, and I was helping him. I was his editor and co-host for some of his shows. He mostly did Let's Play content. But that was 7 years ago. This channel's only been on YouTube for 5 years now. Wait, yeah, 5 years. 2017, so. They really were. They really were in the 2010s. That's all you did. And we played a lot of stuff back in those days. We played Worms and Minecraft and all kinds of stuff. It's been a very long time, though. And I didn't really have creative control over that channel, you know? I wanted a place where I could make weird stuff. Like I make all the time on this channel. I was a little worried at first because our form of content is not... It's not what YouTube tells you to do. We don't focus on just one thing and do that, you know? But I'm pretty happy with the full spectrum and our shotgun media approach where we do everything. We play games. We talk about games. We talk about D&D. We talk about all kinds of stuff. Have a good time, you know? So, I have bad news for you. We cannot put this leg on today. I wanted to put this leg on him. Turns out there's an entire waist piece that we haven't started on yet that has, like... stuff that goes on the side of it that needs to go on before we connect it all because the arms are going to be in the way. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a 1 more week project. Then we'll get into the weapons and we should be able to finish him. But, you know, we got to going pretty good here. We got the leg finished at least. So next 2 weeks from now, we'll do the other leg, the waist, and get all that put together. And that'll set a precedence for roughly how long it takes. Ratio, yeah. You gotta have that waist. Pretty leggy guy, this Barbatos. But, yeah, you know, it's been a fun stream. Thanks, everybody, for coming to hang out with me. I figure since we have a couple more minutes here before we close, I'd show off some of the weird stuff that's up here a little closer. I have a Zagok. Char Zagok. I don't even remember where I got these metal figures. There were 2 of them on the shelf, and I got them both. The Char Zagok and the Unicorn. Because how could I not? And then next to them, you can't really see it, but I have a Kamen Rider Ghost icon. It's Deep Spectre. I like it. And then beside them, you definitely can't see it, I have an Octopath Traveler coin. So, you know. Maybe every week we'll go through a couple of the things on the desk up here, and I'll change them out. We'll show off weird stuff that I've collected over the years from being on this channel. But, yeah, thanks for coming out. Really did enjoy having everybody here. Looking forward to you being here next time. And, you know, next week we'll work back on our intercessors. We'll get this guy finished off. Get his shoulder pad done and everything. Kind of want to do something different with his shoulder pad. And then after that, we'll probably do the guy with the knife. Until next time, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. The Gundam has to offer. I can't use my mouse to turn the stream off. Here we go. Later, everybody.